whatever their concern on other issues.
Joining us now on set here in New York, member of the House Intelligence Committee, Democratic Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney of New York. He also has endorsed, by the way, Beto O'Rourke for president. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But this vote in the House, what does it mean exactly? It's a non-binding vote. It's a recommendation to the Attorney General. Do you think the Attorney General will release the full report to Congress?
Yes, I do. I think it means that we're going to see the whole report. We should. There's an overriding national interest in knowing the full results of the Mueller investigation. We should see it.
So Attorney General Barr previously he wrote a memo expressing some doubts about the Mueller investigation. That's well known and came up at his confirmation hearing. Do you believe that he will go along with this? It's up to him at the end of the day.
Yeah, look, there are some other equities to weigh here, including national security, secrets, grand jury testimony. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you got to filter through. At the end of the day, the whole thing's coming out. The end.
So do you believe the American public will see it? So if the Attorney General gives it to you all, that's one thing. Will the public see the full report?
Yes, I think you'll see it. I think you'll see the whole thing. And I think there must be a very, very high bar for withholding anything. I mean, you must be talking about the most secure secrets we have, or something that rises to the level of national security to justify not withholding anything. Even that would be seen by people on the Hill. You're going to see the report. We should. We've got an enormous national investment in this. The credibility of the presidency is literally hanging in the balance. We should see it.
How exceptional is it that it was a unanimous vote yesterday? That
well,
it was you and all the Republicans.
I'm not sure free beer gets 420 votes in the House of Representatives.
That's what I mean.
Pretty remarkable. So, I mean, anti-Semitism got voting against anti-Semitism got fewer votes last week.
So you are on the Intel Committee. You've heard an awful lot of the evidence. You've had a number of witnesses before you. Do you believe that there was collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia in the 2016 election?
I think there was an awful lot going on that stinks to high heaven. Whether you call it collusion or not is a weighted term, but look at what we know just in the public domain. The extraordinary communications that were happening, the financial entanglement on the most lucrative project the Trump organization would ever have while he's running for president. Strike anybody as weird? And then it shifts to a focus on the disclosure of illegally obtained emails. And there's an enormous amount of back and forth. I'm waiting for Bob Mueller's full report, but we already know enough to know that when they had the opportunity to call the FBI, they didn't. When they had the opportunity to disclose these contacts, they lied about it. If they're so innocent, they're sure acting guilty, and there's a whole lot of interactions that cannot be explained away.
Do you believe the president himself has colluded with Russia, or just the Trump campaign?
I'm going to keep my powder dry on that, but what's great about this president is he does it in plain sight. When he goes out and says, you know, Russia, if you're listening, release the emails, and that night they breach the servers, I think the president is engaged in a public way in some of the stuff we're looking for, you know, in private. So the fact is that he has been, at a minimum, complicit with this, and whether he was actively engaged in the cover-up of these crimes or the conspiracy to commit these crimes, I'm going to leave it to Bob Mueller to tell us.
Do you have any sense, Congressman, for where Mueller is in his investigation? We've had reports about once a week. It's coming. It's going to be this Friday. It's going to be next Friday. Do you have any sense of when it might arrive?
Yeah, look, I think we're all ready for this report. I think we're getting close.
Is that based on knowledge that you have that it's close?
No, it's based on just looking at the course of the investigation and seeing things like the departure of Mr. Weissman. Right. I don't have any special knowledge on that, but I do think this thing is approaching a conclusion, at least of Bob Mueller's point, and I think you'll see a lot of threads roll out of this in other jurisdictions like the Southern District of New York. But I think we'll hear from Mueller soon.
Congressman.